Hi, my name's Melissa Yocum. Melissa Yocum. I work with Dan with his AgriGold and his fertility and his program and his plan to reach this goal of 400 bushel corn. Pretty disappointed this year. We were looking at having one of our best crops, and then Mother Nature again did not cooperate. The more rain there was, the more disease there is, and so we're having stalk quality issues, standability issues. Dan probably mentioned already the tar spot, which led to increased anthracnose and stalk rot and physoderma stalk rot, and we got corn falling all over the place every time the wind blows a little bit. So guys are really disappointed. We, like I said, we went into this fall looking forward to one of our best crops ever. That's what the government promised us, right? So high yields is what we were looking for, and we're probably off, at least 25, 30 bushel from what we were expecting. The tar spot just killed the corn early, so we just don't have the bushels that we thought we were gonna have. In this area, the more rain guys got, the more disease there is in the field. More fungal diseases, more stalk rot, more standability issues. It's kind of opposite than what it normally would be, but I mean, we're talking, there were guys that had 34 inches of rain this season, and that's just a little too much, So, started out good. We started out great, really. I mean, the spring was good, went smooth, and then it just kind of got lost in the rain. In this economy, banks aren't really wanting to take a risk on agriculture. It seems guys are finding it harder and harder to get operating loans, and so less yield means less cash flow, means maybe less growers. So that's a real issue. I mean, people think that farmers are wealthy, and some are, but most are asset rich, cash flow poor, which means they have a huge investment in their equipment, in their land, in their grain bins system, their storage systems, but cash flow still depends on how many bushels they can get per acre. So it's a challenge every year just to keep it rolling. Whether it's beans or corn. We talk a lot about corn, but beans are the same way. In this area, guys have parked the bean heads to the side, and they're picking corn like crazy because it's fallen down and they need to get it harvested before it gets any worse. But this is just the way it's got to be. So I wouldn't say we're panicking. Selling seed and being in this business, I'm kind of panicking because I think that there's an urgency of getting this corn harvested before we really have a mess. There are a few older growers that are just deciding that it's time to retire. They're not going to fight with the banks anymore. They're not going to fight trying to get money to operate, or they're just not going to fight with these markets anymore. So they're going to just take the out and retire. Does Dan always listen to what I recommend? No. But a lot of times he wishes that he would have after the fact. Yes. I think that I bring a different perspective to the way growers think about their operations. Daniel, I think I bring a different perspective to Daniel's operation. I've learned a lot from listening to David Hula and Kevin Matthews about the soil fertility and balancing. It's not about how much nitrogen you can throw out there or how much potassium. It's all about the balance, and it's all about the soil biology. And I've learned so much from listening to those guys talk about how they have increased their yields by paying attention to their soils and their soil needs, not just throwing a bunch of NPK out there to try and reach 300 bushel without having everything balanced. I want to kind of Randy, but
yeah. Well, he doesn't hold back. So
oh,
why
I
would you?
know. Oh my gosh, he's gotten quite mouthy. I need him to call me Tweety Bird or something.
Oh yeah, you got to be careful, I guess. What you say to that?
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, what did you think about what he said to Dan? He said Dan doesn't even know how to do math.
Daniel is a mathematician. He is one of those people who can do math in his head. I swear he's just an accountant in his own head. He can figure things and figure out things. He is a crazy mathematician. So Daniel does know how to do math. He is very intelligent when it comes to math.
He was trying to be nice to Randy by telling everybody lost by less.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was trying to be nice and give him a little benefit by decreasing the amount of bushels he lost to David by.
But it was 140.
But it was 140. Daniel is very good with math. He was being empathetic. Dan always has his hands in everything. He doesn't just have someone else doing the grunt work. He constantly is the one in control of the wrench, of the shovel, of everything that fixes everything. So he's constantly doing something. Actually, I would say it takes a very special woman to be the wife of a farmer. Growers tend to be disappointed and ornery, and they work really hard, long hours in the fall. So to be a wife of a farmer is, you have to have patience and so much patience to deal with the attitudes and disappointments and orneriness of your husband. I really feel for Sean Cobb. She has to deal with Kevin.
You wouldn't want to take her place to deal with Kevin?
I have my hands full dealing with Daniel. The most difficult job in the fall is the grain cart driver. You have to be able to manipulate the tractor and the grain cart up and down hills through the waterways, but you also have to read the mind of the combine operator. You have to be able to load a truck, and you have to be able to keep up with the combine operator when he slows down and speeds up, and slows down and speeds up and turns the opposite direction of the way he was going before. So the most difficult job in the fall is the grain cart operator. I actually, when she volunteered for that job, I said, "Sucker, you don't do that." Slow learner. Slow learner.